Pulled from her newborn, thrown into jail, accused of a crime she did not commit. It sounds like a script from a TV show or a really bad dream, but it happened to a Valley woman. And after a tip to the 12 News investigators, Wendy Halloran is uncovering the deep layers of the case. Wendy?
Well, Mark, on a spring night in 2011, Estella Medrano was tending to her infant daughter. Miles away, a former boyfriend with a new woman in tow was robbing a convenience store. The ex was caught. The female suspect got away. And before she knew it, Phoenix police fingered Estella Medrano guilty by association.
I know what you can use.
Estella Medrano cherishes the treasured time she has playing with her daughter.
No one looks cool, right, Mom?
It wasn't that way weeks after Liliana was born.
The shock and the wonder, I was wondering what's going on.
Estella Medrano is describing the day Phoenix police came to arrest her.
Phoenix 911, location of your emergency.
At 7402 West Thomas Road, I just got robbed.
It was 3 days after former boyfriend Miguel Hernandez robbed a convenience store on West Thomas Road. With him was a female suspect.
They let me use the phone to call my grandma to let her know that I wasn't gonna be coming back to her house that day, and I asked her to watch over my daughter for me. And that's the first time I really got choked up and teared up.
Police had created a photo lineup which included Medrano's driver's license picture and 5 other pictures from the motor vehicle database. None of the women had any connection to the robbery.
I wasn't too worried about it because I knew I hadn't done anything wrong, and I was sure that at some time they were going to do an investigation.
Medrano even offered to help, volunteering to provide her DNA and fingerprints to investigators, who accepted the offer.
No one stopped to think, do innocent people do that? They just said, oh great, thanks for making it easy. And they locked her up.
The store clerk did not pick out Medrano's picture, but Phoenix police officer David Huff did.
I saw the lady for maybe 20 seconds.
Officer Huff chased after Hernandez and his female accomplice. The officer is adamant Medrano's face is burned into his memory.
When you point your gun at somebody, that's the mental picture in your face for a very long time.
Thin, heavy, or medium build?
She was a thin.
The store clerk says the accomplice was thin. This is a picture of her standing right in front of the clerk. This is Estella Medrano during her initial appearance in court. Jail records listed her weight at 208 pounds. She's still carrying the baby weight.
She matched a description of 5'7", 175 pounds that on her MVD record she did match. But in fact, she was 30 pounds heavier than that on the date of her arrest.
Despite inconsistencies, Medrano was booked for armed robbery. She sat in jail for more than 3 months, while evidence which would eventually exonerate her remained untested in a laboratory.
The power to arrest someone, to throw them in a cage and take them away from their family and their children, that's a great power.
It stayed in the back of my mind, just always worrying about her constantly.
Despite her claims, Officer Huff stood firm Estella was the right person. Even when presented with evidence, he had the wrong woman. Defense experts shared statements from the robber's own family.
She is 100% sure that the woman in the video is not Estella.
This lady in this store's pictures is definitely not Estella Medrano.
Then Officer Huff is presented with a picture of this woman, Christina Ruelas. She was Hernandez's girlfriend at the time. Her father identified her in the surveillance video from the store. Still, Huff refused to admit he was wrong.
But I saw her there. I still think I definitely wouldn't want the wrong person, but I'm still saying it's her.
Now, I know I wasn't there.
Later, Christina Ruelas was interviewed and said it wasn't her, and it wasn't Estella Medrano either.
You got the wrong girl, and you better go looking for the other girl, because one down, you guys know it wasn't her.
The lead detective was coming to her own conclusion.
I would say 70% of the photos look like Christina, and there are, I admit, some that kind of look like the other girl, too.
Estella was released on house arrest, and then 9 months after her initial arrest, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office dismissed the case against her in the interests of justice. It wasn't until 2014 at his civil deposition Officer Huff conceded for the first time the possibility that Estella wasn't the accomplice.
He said, is it possible I got the wrong person? I said, yeah, is it possible? And he acknowledged, yes, it's possible.
But it came too late. Estella missed nearly all of her baby's firsts.
A lot of times just going back through memory lane, just Remember when? No, I wasn't there. I don't remember. I didn't get to experience it. I missed out on a lot of important things.
Now, by the way, the DNA and fingerprints did not implicate Medrano in the crime. To this day, no one has been arrested as the female suspect in this case. Tonight, I asked Phoenix Police Sergeant Trent Crump if Medrano is still considered a suspect. His answer, no comment, but good question. Wendy Halloran, 12 News.
Wendy, thanks. Estella Medrano is now suing the police department in both state and federal court, alleging that her civil rights were violated. We should add that the city and Medrano's lawyers tried to negotiate a settlement, with the latest offer being $75,000, but talks broke down. Tomorrow night at 10, Wendy investigates whether the police department followed protocol.